Hello, you beautiful nerds of the world. Torok at your service. Another day, another death battle, another reaction video, and it's probably not your first one either. Today, there is a lot to live up for, because after the monument that was Bowser vs. Eggman, let's face it, it would have taken a hell of a matchup to keep my excitement and my hype and whatever remotely as high as 3 weeks ago. So what better way to end the year than with the final episode of season 11. You know, it's the last episode that Death Battle worked on before having to go independent or not doing seasons anymore. A great matchup awaits us today. This is one of the first matchups that ever appeared on the Champions ballots. The first matchup the community had the chance to vote for, and today it's happening. Let's welcome Among Us! I'm sorry, it's not condescending, I swear. Among Us versus Fall Guys! Yay! Battle of the Beans, whatever. You know what, let's just skip to how I know these characters, let's just skip to my history with these two characters so you can understand, how my waiting experience was these past 3 weeks. So I have almost close to no history at all with these games, okay? I don't play Fall Guys multiplayer. Multiplayers aren't really my thing, so games like Fall Guys and Among Us kind of don't really appeal to me. I remember playing one game of Among Us. Two games technically. I played 2 games of Among Us. One I was a crewmate, died like a bitch. One I was the imposter. I killed 2 people. I got caught. I was satisfied with my run. Uninstall. Never played it again. That's But you know what? You know, at least I tried it, I guess. That's better than what I can say about most matchups sometimes. But the meme culture around Among Us is something that I'm very much a fan of. One of my favorite type of humor is cringy old people humor. You know, the kind of humor that is like, how do you do, fellow kids? What's up, my skibbity guys? You know, it's that humor when you try to blend in with the current generation. You know, you try to get with it, but it's very obvious that you don't know what you're talking about. Like, what's up, my skibbity riz guys? Let's vent to Tilted Towers with Rick and Morty. Among Us. See, it's that random bullshit that gets me every time. And Among Us is this, at least the Among Us memes are this culmination of shit that is dead, that everyone thinks it's unfunny anymore and just want to move on from. But the fact that it keeps coming back, and so no one finds them funny, and that's why it's fucking hilarious for me. I think it adds that I'm close to my 30s, and so even I'm starting to not get with it when it comes to the current slang or expressions and stuff like that. So I'm a bit out of the loop. So it's a kind of an Ouroboros of self-irony of just deprecating of just decaying brain. And so this level of brain rot has been contrasting a lot to my waiting experience these past 3 weeks, because last time it was Bowser vs. Eggman. It was a matchup that I never thought possible, and yet it was so amazing, and it was brought up in such an epic and glorious way, you know. I almost tear up sometimes when I sing Game Over, whether in the shower or just while working on videos or whatever. I don't work on videos. The sheer passion of so many talented people making fan arts, shipping Bowser Jr. and Sage, you know, which I contributed a lot on it. I still have fan arts of those to do. There's so much passion that, you know, my brain is swelling. My brain has been swelling from joy for this episode, and then immediately deflates and rots because of the sussy baka bullshit. So it should be so, you know, I barely even talked about Fall Guys, I'm sorry. It should be obvious that I'm there exclusively for the sus of this episode, okay? The sus part of this episode. I don't even know who's gonna win, and honestly, I don't care. I know it gets, like, super wacky super quickly, the Among Us crewmates. I remember the Among Us crewmates can split planets in the Vampire Survivor crossover trailer. Apparently the Fall Guys can survive the Big Bang for some reason, and they have, like, tons of stuff that... They don't really fight, but they can definitely take a hit. And I know that the common consensus would be that the Fall Guys are too tough for the Among Us crew to even stand a chance. But then, like, it shifted towards the end. I've seen, like, more and more people shifting towards Among Us for some reason. But at this point, I don't know. I just have to wait and see. So, with all that, it's time for me to shut up. Just get into this episode and let's see who's the winner. Among Us. I can't promise I'll stop. This is gonna be very funny. Let's go. 3, 2, 1! Among Us!
This battle is sponsored by Marvel Snap.
Yeah, them again. Oh, it's...
The year was 2020. The long wait as we all experienced the most viral sensation in recent years. It was Among Us.
Yeah!
Fall Guys was the biggest news that year. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. See, that's a good intro! I love this intro! This was good! Keep doing those! This was great!
A peculiar crew of
Great job! Keep doing those! Love this death battle! Please, keep this format of intro.
Lots of stuff could go wrong at any moment, and it's
Anyway.
up to these colorful clowns to fix it. Impressive, since their spacesuits don't seem to have any arms.
Oh, that's not actually a suit.
Boomstick as an Among Us.
Wait, what? Ew, why?
More on that later. The tasks they undertake to save their ship require
comes in
varying
18
degrees of
marketable colors.
skill. It may not take much to
Reproduce
realize
sexually,
the
reportedly
cafeteria, but
good
it
friends
certainly
with Fall
does
Guys.
to clear asteroids when your ship is moving fast.
Likes and dislikes sussy bakas!
Then why do they have a cafeteria when they don't have a mouth?
At any point, these creatures must draw from medical training, electrical skills, and mechanical know-how.
Okay, but it's total chaos, so teamwork is key. They gotta spread out and trust that while they're all swiping cards, they have each other's backs, right?
Well, success is always uncertain, as though fate has placed some external force that stands between this species and their survival.
There's
An imposter among them!
I mean, among us, but not us, though, right, Wiz? Right?
Look at
I'm
them!
not an imposter.
Look at the
Just
crew.
what an imposter would say. They're shape-shifting aliens.
Though imposters
They
can
could be
shapeshift, they do
anyone,
not
or
appear to
any
gain
mad
any unique
scientist
abilities
in a
of creatures they
lab
impersonate.
The imposter threatens the pack and pushes them towards extinction by any means necessary.
Defies
Anything
death,
from
protects
damaging
others.
lights to wrecking the ship's reactor.
Phantom
Which can
vanishes,
be tricky
becomes
to fix
invisible.
in time. Even though imposters are naturally skilled at crawling through the vents, the crewmates need special engineer training to do the same. So not all of them can McLean it up.
All while the imposters conceal their motivations and infiltrate the herd. The others always know something isn't right, and the imposters use that paranoia to motivate their prey into ejecting each other into space.
Sus is Among Us!
Being kinda sus.
I have a very good friend in Rome called Sus Among Us.
Yeah, Wiz is the imposter.
He does seem to know an awful lot about these aliens. And just to put it out there, it isn't me.
That's a good point. Have you ever heard him say sus?
No, what do you mean? Knowing a lot is literally my job.
Oh, that's even worse than in the preview. Great.
Back, dummy.
I agree with the metal bowling ball.
Well, I knew the sussy baka from the start. And again, just to be very clear,
Ringmaster's
it isn't
totally
me.
the imposter.
Same here.
Oh, come on. Anyone could be the imposter.
Have you ever heard him
It's
say
completely
ear
random.
canals?
Random starts with R and so does. Oh, I know who it is. It's always the red one.
Wait, what? But it isn't me! It isn't me!
Ringmaster, he was the imposter all along!
Right, there's usually two imposters.
Dear God.
The imposters aren't just tricksters, they're also hunters, bloodhounds tracking and assassinating crewmates when they least expect it.
They'll snap their necks, stab them with a knife, shoot them with a desert eagle, or use their frickin' tongues to impale their faces. Oh, God! Right through the visor.
They may look like they're wearing spacesuits, but that's not a visor. That is their actual face.
Yeah.
Examining their cross-section reveals their insides always match the color of their bodies, and that they are comprised of exactly one large bone, which must mean their ability to walk is entirely muscle-based. Their whole anatomy is one unsolvable mystery.
Ew! They've got human toes, buff arms for no reason, and can stretch like Mr. Fantastic?
Oh.
What are these freaky things?
No one knows. They don't even exist within the same realm of mortality as you or I. Even if one of them is killed or ejected into the lifeless void of space, they return as a ghost. Invisible, incorporeal, unable to communicate with the living, but nonetheless still among us.
Beyond death, they can plot the demise of other crew.
Or become guardian angels for the living by literally shielding them.
That's gotta be one tough shield, cause remember that Desert Eagle they holster? Apparently that thing
There it is.
fires a laser that can rip apart whole planets. Good God! To split this planet apart like that would need over 10 non-million tons of TNT.
There it is.
So incomprehensible, you'd have to multiply 1 billion by 1 billion. Twice.
More than enough to annihilate Earth over 160 million times. Which seems like overkill for the, space vampires they were fighting.
The
Yeah.
crew has crossed over with a variety of other universes. Fortnite, Vampire Survivors, Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator, the classics.
Including this Henry Stickmin.
Yeah.
Apparently he's a kleptomaniac with a surprisingly wide and wacky arsenal all the crew can have.
Desert Eagle-eyed crewmates will find Henry's weapons throughout the ship, like a banana bomb, a teleporter,
Okay, they're giving him,
a pencil that can bring drawings to life.
okay, they're giving him like every of Henry
Sketched whenever they
Stickmin's
want into
creations.
existence, And they're suddenly everywhere I look now. Where's these little trash cans?
Wings of Iron.
Me up.
In a strange way, all of this makes
The
sense
reason
for
you
this
know what
fascinating
sus is
species.
because
In the
it's
face of insurmountable
shaped like the
odds,
crewmates
something
sold
inside
for
tells them to
how
stick
many?
together no matter what, to use all the tools available and try to survive again and again. On a ship, on strange planets, anywhere they may be, in spite of anything that may be going on in the world. They either fix what's broken or face certain doom. But no matter what, they do it together.
Among us, together.
With the drip.
Yeah.
He got the drip.
Ooh.
He got the
Hey
drip.
y'all, this is Chad.
Oh.
No, I voice Boomstick.
Yeah.
At 1 p.m. Central today, Sam and I are going to be playing some Fall Guys and maybe some Among Us live here on the Death Battle channel and on Twitch.
Okay.
Hang out, have some fun, and who knows, if you guys enjoy it, maybe we'll do some more gameplay streams in the future.
Go check him out.
Thanks.
He's the imposter.
Welcome to the
Oh yeah, this video is about Fall Guys as well.
Dome. Natural habitat to these lovable little beings known as the Fall Guys, who race each other through fun playgrounds with nothing but clear skies above.
These lively obstacle courses showcase their inherent skills and abilities. As if drawn by natural instinct, they hurdle over barriers together and pass through various tests of strength, agility, and mental fortitude.
And it's pretty impressive considering how elaborate these bounce house courses get. How do these weebles wobble through it?
With a shocking level of innate
good friends with
mastery
Among
that
Us.
otherwise hasn't been seen
Stars
since
in their own
2006.
manga.
But honestly,
Potentially
not many
void
of
sent.
the beans make it. And only
Half
one
of
will be
Mike
crowned the
Wazowski.
winner before everything starts all over again.
Which makes for some very friendly competition, like survival of the fittest, but for a bunch of candy grimaces. They'll grab, shove, and slam into each other to make it out on top, or even roll up into a ball and launch across the course. Self-preservation be damned.
Yeah, but I think he was
Time,
knocked
the beans
back
have evolved
backward
to
there.
higher levels of, let's call it imagination. The engineer, Digi, invented the creative device so the beans could start making and designing new obstacles and challenges for themselves, as well as additional tools like wrecking balls, wind-up boxes for punching foes, and even translators that make their nonsensical language intelligible.
But even at their best, they're still just flinging themselves over these obstacles like a bunch of drunken lemmings.
This species seems to have a biological urge to navigate these courses for one singular purpose. Get that crown.
I mean, if I could be king for a day, I'd push you off a cliff right now.
Very funny. Get away from me.
Things in the Blunder Dome can
Oh
get
shit,
wild.
there's a lot. Blast
We've seen
balls,
these goobers
creative
get
device,
smacked by
fan
giant
block, size
pellets,
alterations,
get
resurrection,
actual
power-ups,
lava, but they
crossover
always
equipment,
pop back
grappling
up at
hooks.
the
The
qualification
TARDIS!
stage later, completely unharmed somehow.
These remarkable creatures have demonstrated some dumbfounding durability, such as getting struck by meteors. That's a hit anywhere from 18 tons of TNT to 15 kilotons. But they still get right back up to Rube Goldberg themselves straight through another obstacle course.
On top of that, they were hit with the Big Bang and came out the other side completely fine. Whoa, wait,
There it is.
did I
Again.
just say the Big Bang? Why do we even mention the meteor? Who cares? Their suits are basically indestructible.
Boomstick, I hate to tell you this.
No,
Those aren't really.
don't say it.
Those aren't actually suits. That's their skin.
Oh man, people were getting weird back in 2020. Didn't they have better things to do?
With only arms,
While playing Animal Crossing and Doom,
must be
which
some
I was doing, by the way.
mechanism inside the beans that causes them to be self-sustaining.
I went back to
In
playing
section,
Warcraft
it's
3 like
unclear. This is an
very
official
fast,
incident.
very fast after that. But I played a
The
bit.
skeleton or the fact that these jelly beans are 6 friggin' feet tall.
Imagine bumping into this thing in a dark alleyway. No, thank you.
Oh, this means when you start the game, you're just flat out naked? Just swing
Yep.
away.
Yep.
Beans in the wind.
Yep.
Strange such nakedness would be allowed, considering what's actually happening is the Fall Guys are contestants in a non-stop 24/7 game show, the Ultimate Knockout. Yeah, that's what's actually happening here. So what might be misconstrued as some sort of migration cycle is really a brutal, never-ending gauntlet that takes advantage of their tunnel vision.
So it's like the Truman Show mixed with Wipeout and Naked and Afraid. What happened to them being just colorful cartoon beans?
And they survive to keep playing the game no matter what. The game
Won
makers
5
have said that
crowns
when
in
the
a
beans
row.
fall
Trust
to their
us, it's
death,
harder
they
than it
feel
seems.
A moment of displacement, serenity, zen-like detachment from all worldly and physical bonds. Then they pop back onto the podium to celebrate their achievements. That's an official quote.
They've also said they're strong enough to rip someone in half and can stretch their bodies so far they pass beyond the observable universe.
Oh
What?
God, the Twitter feeds.
Oh yeah! January 18th, 2022, 9:14 a.m. The Fall Guy stretched so far, he exited the universe as we know it, and then he kept going.
Speaking of universes, the Fall Guys have seen dozens of guest stars from other stories and have learned from their cultures, like flying around in the TARDIS of Doctor Who fame, wielding He-Man's power sword, launching Ryu's iconic Hadouken, or even just becoming Pac-Man. They just become Pac-Man. They're Pac-Man now.
Wiz, I know
Pac-Man.
we've seen some crazy things on the show, but these 6 feet tall jelly bean monsters eat food through their feet. What are we about to rot upon the world? Is this cute and colorful reality an endless void of darkness and despair? Revelations of disturbances too catastrophic for the human mind to process? A vicious cycle on this blue marble surrounded by mouthless, dead-eyed beans.
Pretty much.
Ah, cool, let's see them fight.
Yeah! Alright, alright. A little bit of a prediction time. Well, before we get to prediction time, I'm gonna need to rewatch those analysis again. I'm just gonna need to rewatch the analysis again, and I'll see you right quick. Alright, prediction time. So I've reviewed their previews. Something inside me is telling me this is kind of a Scooby-Doo versus Courage situation. Because they're saying that they both have crossed over with Fortnite, which is where the Big Bang has occurred. The thing that the Fall Guys have survived. So, stat-wise, I'm pretty sure they should be evenly matched. I would say the Among Us crews can react faster than light, blasting blasting asteroids blasting asteroids in space while moving at faster than light speed. The Fall Guys can stretch across like way beyond the universe in possibly a matter of days. That seems like way faster than even the Among Us's the fastest their own stretching powers. One thing I was thinking about when I was thinking that the Among Us could survive, like have the most survivability because they can come back as ghosts and, you know, use protection and whatever, but the Fall Guys can turn into Pac-Man. You know, he eats ghost. They have the perfect counter to the Among Us's ultimate intangibility thing. So, which is worrisome. So that's one counter for the Fall Guys. If you are to separate Fortnite, I would have to give the stats, the physical stats to Fall Guys. Because they're the one who have been said to survive the Big Bang, but I wouldn't be surprised if they give that feat to Among Us as well. But even with that, even with durability and strength being like equal, where there's still like a wide gap in speed, there's still a wide gap in speed. The Fall Guys seem to have, again, a counter against the ghosts. They seem to be able to create, well, not everything they imagine with the creative tool, but the Among Us crew have Henry's pencil, though. Just for the physicality of it, I'm gonna go with the Fall Guys, with just with their feats, I'm going with the Fall Guys. But it reminds me a lot of Scooby-Doo vs. Courage, where, you know, they've crossed over. They are friends, they've crossed over with the same thing, so they should be scaled to the same thing, and therefore they can't really kill each other. But I can sort of find ways for them I can find ways for the Fall Guys to put the Among Us crew down for good. And I can't really find like a good answer for the Among Us crewmates and the imposters that could let them, you know, have the advantage of the Fall Guys. I would they do have a bit more coordination though. What with you know, the Ghost Among Us being able to, you know, working together and protecting each other, the Guardian Angel protecting the crewmates that are alive. Because like Fall Guys, they're just a bunch of competitive assholes that just wanna get to the goal, and they're just like pushing each other, they're shoving each other, and they're just they're very self-preserving, so they're not gonna work as a team. They're hardly gonna work together to defeat Among Us. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I give coordination and maybe versatility to the Among Us crew. I give the stats and trump cards to the Fall Guys. You know what I mean? I feel like the Fall Guys have a bit more. I give not physical stats, but speed and trump cards, and you know, game enders, I would say. So just for that, I'm leaning toward the Fall Guys, but I wanna put a bit of a parentheses. But it sounds a lot like Courage vs. Scooby-Doo, where it might be a tie, actually. It might just be a tie. This is gonna be. I want to throw it out there before I get any confirmation, but maybe a tie. If it's not a tie, then I'll give it to the Fall Guys. But it's not by much. It's not as if they don't include the Big Bang feats to the Among Us, then the Fall Guys absolutely dominates. But I'm pretty sure they're going to give they're going to scale Among Us and Fall Guys to the same durability feats. So it's not going to be they crossed over with the same world where this happened. So To me, I'm pretty much convinced that this is what's going to happen. But even with that, the Fall Guys, they still have the speed, they still have the counter, and they still have somewhat of a range of arsenal. Even though the Among Us, well, the Among Us could create anything they want, but that doesn't necessarily help them create like ultimate like Fall Guys destroyer and stuff like that. So I'm going to lean to the Fall Guys, but it's not as much as a stomp as I've heard that it would be. Anyway, my prediction is either a tie or Fall Guys. 3, 2, 1, click! Alright, the commanders are set!
We've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle! It's time to get sus! Because there's imposters! There are imposters amongst our ranks. Look at them. They're so sus. Oh, they got the... they got the UI. That's so good. Alright, well, if they start killing each other, that's not gonna help them. Alright, this is where the sneak peek ends. Everyone was ejected! Alright! Alright, this is where it starts. Fight! Ah. Eliminated! Dead! Dead! Okay. There's not a single red crewmate so far. That's worked! It's worked! Ooh! Alright! Distraction dance! Okay, the punch. Come on. One has to get hit. Get him! Ooh! You're dead! Yeah! He was the imposter all along! Hoo ha hoo! Ah, ooh. Ah, da, 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 da. Ah! Gun! Okay, they seem to go with the fact that Fall Guys is too tough. Ooh! Ooh, ooh! Ooh! Banana! Banana! Get that crown! He's stretched! Teleporter! Ah! Pac-Man! There it is! Hadouken! One got dead! Yes! Oh, right! The TARDIS! Hey, man! Okay, the pencil. Got another sword. Fight! I'm rooting for Among Us, by the way. He just gave up. Let's get it! We're into the sun! Into the sun! Uh-oh. Oh, come on. Woo! Sorry. We got a double.
When's the next episode? This is my new favorite show. Who's ever too crazy?
We broke this down into 3 categories: offense, defense, and the bizarre. Let's start with offense.
I mean, the bogus Among Us could blow up planets, not to mention moving faster than light to hit all those planets in one shot. It's kinda out there, but no Fall Guy has ever done anything like that. The crewmates clearly get the edge in offense.
Though that impressive power matters less when we look at defense.
It's crazy how much damage the Fall Guys can walk off. They survived anything their course threw at them, took hits from meteors, and most importantly, survived the Big Bang. You know, the explosion that blew the whole frickin' universe into existence?
Yeah.
Easy edge for the bumbling beans.
We can even go a step further. Both of these creatures have demonstrated various forms of invulnerability and death negation, like how the Fall Guys could always pop back up for another round, or how the crewmates became ghosts when they die. However,
Wouldn't
only
that be
the Fall Guys
considered
had a
a
viable
kill, though?
counter. Only the Fall Guys could ensure that their foe stays dead.
Pac-Man, they can become Pac-Man. Well, you know, eats gold.
Exactly!
Which leads us to the truly bizarre stuff about both of these beanie freaks.
They could both stretch their bodies to absurd lengths, but only the Fall Guys stretch beyond the observable universe in a matter of minutes. In fact, if we take these posting times literally, that would mean the Fall Guys can stretch
I
at
was
speeds
expecting a
over
calculation like
quadrillion
that.
times faster than light.
Yeah.
I don't know, Wiz. That feels like a bit of a
Stretch.
Wink.
The crewmates did have plenty of answers to the Fall Guys' hijinks, like a magic pencil sword to fight off He-Man's power sword, or how they could potentially hack Digi's creations.
But the overwhelming amount of stuff that the Fall Guys have access to just dwarfs the Among Us crew's arsenal. I mean, Hadoukens, TARDIS, just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, the spaceship crew had a few deadlier weapons among them, but the Fallen Guys had too many options that could not be countered.
The crewmates may have been cunning and dangerous, but the one-track-minded Fall Guys just wouldn't go down.
Making sure the losers of this fight were no longer Among Us.
Oh no, we never found the second imposter!
Ah,
It's
damn it, I knew
Jocelyn.
that stupid robot was sus.
So embarrassing.
The winner is Fall
Winner
Guys.
is the Fall Guys. And me.
Next time on...
Oh, there's a next time. Okay, before we begin, let's talk about the fight itself before we talk about Oh, that was a fun one. That was a very, very funny one. I was not expecting them to take it the way they went for. Like the way that it started as an Among Us game, but then they got ejected into a game of Fall Guys, then they're back into space, then they're back into another game of Fall Guys, and then they're chasing around the crown and stuff like that. That was very fun. Lots of memes. The memes were abundant in this fucking episode. The Fortnite dance, perfect. That is my type of humor. I love it. I love it. Oh god, this is the brain fart I needed. This was very much the brain fart I needed. And the Fall Guy's having a traumatic experience. He'll be fine. He just needs to die again. He needs to die again, and then. But it's true that I didn't consider their way of like popping back again. I just felt like it would be. I felt like it would be just their world, you know. It just brings them back to life, and it's not really them. If we're giving them like the instant respawn, like. Yeah, of course they were going to win. I'm still a bit I'm a bit disappointed they didn't assign the Big Bang feats to the Among Us. I feel like if they crossovered with Fortnite, I know it was as a backpack. People in the comments are gonna say that was a backpack. It's still the crewmates. They're infiltrating the game in some way. They're infiltrating the world in a way that wouldn't make them look sus. But, like, you know, it should be taken into account, and I don't think it changes it wouldn't change the debates that much, because the Fall Guys just have... Like I said, they still have the overwhelming speed, and they still have their instant respawn. They can still turn into Pac-Man. I called out that one, though it did take me 2 reviews. It did take me 2 viewings of the analysis to figure that one out, but yeah, that makes sense. The animation was good. I didn't even mention. Props to all the animators that worked on this. This was very fun. I didn't even mention Larry Winwood. Like people are gonna kill me if I don't mention him. This is the guy that inspired this entire episode because he made a fun little quick animation fan sneak peek, and And Death Battle was so hyped about this that they not only made this episode, but they got Larry Winwood, that's his name, maybe I'm mispronouncing it, but they got the guy to actually work on this episode, and oh, I think that's a very good call. This was good shit. This was very, very good shit. This was very fun. Lots of memes, lots of shenanigans. A very intense fight, a very fun fight, a very fun everything. With all that said, they're apparently announcing what's going to be coming for next year, so I'm very curious to see that in 3, 2, 1, click.
The Fall Guys. And
Congratulations!
Next time on Death Battle.
What is it? Ah!
Subscribe and join us a member to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
Hope you enjoyed the episode, but the battle's
I
not
did.
over because Sam and I are going head-to-head in Fall Guys, maybe some Among Us, live on the Death Battle YouTube channel right now. And
Yeah, I've seen.
hope to see you
Apparently
there.
they're live right now, but I don't have the time to. I don't have the time. How's it going, Tom versus Wily fans? How does it feel? How does it feel to have Kratos versus Asura before the matchup that actually won? Oh, Kratos versus Asura, it's happening. I didn't expect it to happen this soon. When is it happening? They're not announcing any dates. They don't seem to be announcing any dates, so I'm just going to assume it's going to be next year nonetheless. But we needed Asura's Wrath in Death Battle. Kratos needed a run back in Death Battle. This matchup is incredibly hype. I mean, it still makes sense that it's happening. Like, it was an apparently very popular matchup back in the Champions ballots, and it was like second in the Tournament of Champion. I have reservation about making a Tournament of Champions matchup happen before Tom versus Wily, or at least like apparently they were already working on this before the Rooster Teeth. Their plan was to make Kratos versus Asura anyway, so I'm kind of like, I'm a bit iffy on that fact. The fact that they threw a matchup that they were going to do anyway in the Tournament of Champions. Yeah, I don't know, could have given another matchup some spotlight during that time, but given the circumstances of Death Battle, I've talked about it, I prefer this outcome over no Death Battle at all. With all that being said, 2024 is over, at least for Death Battle. 2024 was kind of a rough time for all of us. I think it's safe to say something like this, and not gonna lie, 2025 seems to have the same stench going on. I think it's not going to be better for a lot of us, and for a lot of us, it's not going to get any better. But at least Death Battle is so back, and I am extremely excited. I'm extremely excited for whatever they're gonna bring us in the future. So, thank you so much for watching. If you like this reaction, think about subscribing, sharing it to your friends, your families, your foes. If this is your first reaction you're seeing of me, I draw these fan arts that I use for the thumbnails of videos like these. So, and I draw them live. So if you want to check out when's going to be the next Let's Draw Death Battle for Kratos versus Asura, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell and all that thing. With all that being said, I have one last thing to say to you all. Among Us. Get the fuck out of here! please keep posting about Among Us. I never get tired of seeing it. On Discord, it's memes. On Twitter, it's memes. I was in a server, right? And all the channels were just Among Us stuff. I showed my champion underwear to my girlfriend. The logo, I flipped it. I was like, hey babe, when the underwear sus. got a chuckle out of that one. Ding 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 ding. Ding ding ding. I looked at a trash can the other day. Looked at it. I was like, it's a bit sussy. I look at my penis. I think of the astronaut's helmets. I'm like, penis? More like, peen sus.